Let's start with a sound every prospector knows too well: the sudden silence of a dial tone. Calling strangers is frustrating, especially when they hang up before you finish your first sentence. But you can systematically change that reaction. We are going to walk through a strict framework that takes exactly 5 minutes, designed to guide a defensive stranger into becoming a willing prospect. Before you dial, you must have 4 things ready: a completely quiet room, your target list, a mirror, and an open calendar application. If you are missing any of these, do not pick up the phone. This timeline displays the architecture of the call. We start with preparation 15 minutes out, move through the first minute of permission, spend minutes 2 and 3 building rapport, use minute 4 for assurance, and finalize the appointment at minute 5. Look at the left side of this diagram. You must clear your physical space of unpredictable background noise. A dog barking or a barista calling out an order instantly marks you as an amateur and ruins your credibility. On the right, you see the required physical preparation. Spend 15 minutes practicing your script in front of a mirror and recording yourself. You need to ensure your diction is clear and your tone is professional before you ever speak to a prospect. This blue waveform represents a standard or low vocal pitch. When a prospect answers the phone and hears a deep, monotone voice, their brain's threat assessment instincts are automatically triggered. They instantly become guarded. Now compare that to the orange waveform on the right. By consciously elevating your voice just 1 tone above your normal baseline, you bypass those defensive triggers. It subconsciously signals safety to the listener and disarms their skepticism. The clock starts as soon as they answer. Looking at the cold open panel here, notice the red X. If you start the call by asking, "May I speak to Mr. Smith?" you are telling them you do not know who picked up. You instantly sound like a telemarketer. Instead, look at the warm open on the right. Assume the person answering a cell phone is the owner. State their name, followed by your name and company, as absolute facts. "Hi Jamie, my name is Kim." Then pause to let them digest it. This brings us to the top of the permission fork. You must explicitly ask if they mind you taking 5 minutes of their time. This proves you respect their schedule. If they say no, follow the right side of the chart to the grayscale exit. Acknowledge their deadline, leave your direct number, and close the call without applying pressure. You leave the door open for a future contact. If they say yes, follow the path on the left. By granting you that 5-minute window, they have consciously agreed to listen. Defenses drop, and you proceed to the next phase from a position of mutual respect. Now that you have their attention, you cannot simply read your script. A rigid reading prevents genuine trust. You must build a fluid, organic conversation. This circular diagram illustrates the tool you use to build that connection, the active listening loop. It is a mechanical rule that forces you to engage rather than rush. Focus on the bottom section with the timer. When the prospect finishes speaking, you must silently count to 3 in your head before you offer a response. That deliberate silence allows the prospect time to digest their own words. It also gives you the mental space to find a real connection point, rather than just waiting for your turn to talk. As you reach minute 4 and transition to the logistics of the claim, the claimant's natural hesitation will spike. They are considering moving forward, which means they are scanning for risks. Look at the left pillar of this graphic. You must proactively eliminate their financial fear. Explicitly state that your company covers all front-end expenses, and there are 0 upfront costs for them. Next, move to the right pillar to eliminate fears of identity theft. Guarantee that you require 0 sensitive personal information to get the initial paperwork rolling. Only after you neutralize those 2 specific anxieties will the prospect feel safe enough to proceed. Notice how the padlock on the right opens once both assurances are delivered. In the final minute, you must set the appointment. Do not ask a prospect when they are free. Leaving the scheduling open-ended surrenders your control of the process. Looking at the bottom of this staircase, use the double bind technique. Offer exactly 2 specific dates and times. For example, Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. or Thursday at 2:30 p.m. This forces a choice between 2 times rather than a yes or no. Once they choose, move up the steps. Repeat the selected date back to them for verbal confirmation, and block that time in your calendar while you are still actively on the line with them. This line graph maps the impulse window. Notice how the emotional enthusiasm to commit to the process peaks right here during the call, and then steadily drops over the next 48 hours. Look at the red shaded area on the right. If you book an appointment beyond that 48-hour mark, you enter the dissipation zone. Their enthusiasm evaporates, and the chances of them changing their mind or not showing up increase dramatically. Knowing the words is only part of the process. Memorizing your script is useless if you ignore the pacing and rhythm of your delivery. This final flowchart synthesizes the call. Notice how the scripted dialogue blocks are separated by distinct red pause indicators. Zooming in reveals the mechanics. The psychological warming does not happen while you are talking. It happens in the silent space between your words. Here is your final blueprint. Warm up your environment and pitch. Ask permission by assuming identity. Create rapport through active listening. Provide zero risk assurance. And set the appointment within the 48-hour window. You have the framework. Step in front of the mirror, start your 15-minute timer, and execute your first dial.